Welcome to the Nikko Daze Show, your soft space in a world that doesn't always slow down enough to feel, your sanctuary for unspoken thoughts, your late-night companion when the ache of unfinished stories feels too loud to carry alone. I'm Nikko, your quiet voice when the noise inside your head won't stop, your soul listener, the person reminding you that your healing doesn't need to be understood by anyone else in order to be valid. Tonight's episode is a vulnerable one. It's for the ones who are left hanging, the ones still checking old messages, still replaying that conversation, still wondering what they did wrong, or worse, what they could have done differently. Tonight is about closure, or rather, the closure that never came, the apology you were owed but never received, the conversation that ended before you had the chance to say how much it all hurt. The friendship that slowly disappeared, the relationship that ended with a period when you were still mid-sentence. We're told closure brings peace, but what they don't tell you is that sometimes it's a luxury. Sometimes it doesn't come. Sometimes the only thing left is you standing there with the shattered pieces of something that meant a lot, trying to make sense of the silence. And that's what we're going to explore tonight. Not because we're here to villainize the people who walked away, but because your pain deserves a space to breathe, and your healing deserves to begin, even without a final explanation. This is the Nikko Daze Show, and I want you to know something right now before we begin. You are allowed to feel broken about something that didn't end the way it should have. You're allowed to grieve people who are still alive. You're allowed to miss someone and still know they're not good for you. And most importantly, you are allowed to stop waiting, because closure won't come from them, but it can come from within you. And I'll be here with you breath by breath, word by word, as we begin that journey. Before we dive into the heart of tonight's episode, don't forget to follow or subscribe to the Nikko Daze Show on Spotify, YouTube, or wherever you find your soft places online. We're here every Wednesday and Saturday, unraveling the hard stuff slowly, gently, and always without judgment. So light a candle, sink into your space, grab a warm drink, or let your blanket hold you tight. This is your time. This is your space. Let's begin. Let's pause for a moment, wherever you are, in your room, on your commute, under the covers, trying to quiet your thoughts. This is your moment to come back to yourself. Let's have the day's check-in. Sit back, soften your jaw, let your shoulders fall away from your ears. Close your eyes if it's safe to do so. Take a slow breath in through your nose, hold it, and gently release. Feel your body. Feel the weight of everything you've been carrying lately. Now ask yourself gently, what ending in my life still feels unfinished? Maybe it's a message that was never replied to, a friendship that faded out with no goodbye, a love that left more questions than answers. What do I wish I could have said? Let the words rise, no judgment, even if they're messy, even if they come with tears. Who am I still waiting for? Even when I tell myself I've moved on. Name them, not to invite them back, but to finally let yourself be honest. Where in my life have I been holding my breath, waiting for someone else to free me? And now, ask, what would it feel like to give myself that freedom instead? Not because it's easy, not because you're ready, but because maybe, just maybe, you're tired of carrying this ache around, waiting for it to be acknowledged by someone who might never come back. Take another breath with me. Inhale for 4. Exhale for 6. This is where the healing begins. With presence, with truth, with softness. You're not broken for wanting answers. You're not weak for needing closure, but you are brave for showing up here anyway. This is your check-in. This is the Daze, and you are not alone. There was someone I used to love deeply, not just in the romantic kind of way, but in that soul deep, I thought you'd be in my life forever kind of way. The kind of connection that rewires your sense of safety until it's gone. We didn't really fight. There was no clear goodbye, just distance, silence, a slow unraveling. At first, I kept thinking maybe we'd talk again, that one day they'd send a message saying, "I miss you. I'm sorry. Can we talk?" And I rehearsed the conversation in my head over and over. I'd imagine what I'd say, how I'd keep my composure, how I'd finally get answers to the questions that haunted me in the quiet. But days turned into weeks. Weeks turned into months. And eventually, I stopped expecting the message to come. Still, the grief didn't go away. Because when someone exits your life without warning or explanation, it doesn't just leave silence. It leaves stories. The stories you tell yourself about why, what you did wrong, what you could have done better, or what you weren't enough of. It took me a long time to realize that what I was missing wasn't just them. It was validation. I wanted someone to say, "You didn't imagine the connection. It mattered to me too." I wanted a neat bow, a last chapter, a sense of peace that only they could give me. Or so I thought. But one night, during a long walk with no music, no distractions, I realized something. I was waiting for them to give me something they never could. Not because they were cruel, but because they were already gone. And the only one still holding on was me. So I sat on a bench. I whispered everything I wished I could have said to them. All the anger, all the softness, all the memories that made me laugh and cry and ache. And then I whispered something to myself, "You can let go now." And I did, not perfectly, not all at once, but piece by piece, I let the need for their closure dissolve. And in its place, I gave myself something more sacred, my own permission to move forward. Let's talk about it. We grow up with this idea that healing is symmetrical, that when something breaks, especially between people, the mending must be mutual, that someone has to apologize, offer explanations, sit across from us and say, "You were right to be hurt. Here's what happened. I'm sorry." But that's not always how life works. Sometimes people leave without giving you the ending you deserve. They exit your life in the middle of the sentence, and you're left holding a pen, staring at a blank page, waiting for an explanation that might never come, waiting for closure that's stuck in someone else's mouth. And so you stay, not because you're weak, but because your heart just wants to understand, to feel seen, to feel like all that emotion wasn't wasted. But here's what I need you to know. Closure is not something they give you. Closure is something you choose. You don't need their words to validate your story. You don't need their apology to begin healing. And you definitely don't need their permission to stop carrying the weight of what they left behind. You can give yourself the grace of completion, even without answers. Sometimes closure looks like saying, "I don't fully understand why they left, but I'm not going to let that stop me from living fully now." Sometimes closure sounds like, "I still have questions, but I deserve peace more than I deserve answers." And sometimes closure feels like unfollowing them, deleting the drafts you never sent, putting away the sweater you keep smelling because it still has their scent, breathing again without guilt. It's learning to sit with the ache without needing it to disappear first. It's holding space for both heartbreak and healing to coexist in the same body. And maybe most importantly, it's understanding that people may never meet you in the goodbye you needed, but you can still meet yourself there. You can write your own ending, not to the love you had, not to the friendship you cherished, but to the part of you that believed you weren't worthy of closure unless someone else gave it to you. You are allowed to make peace without a perfect explanation. You are allowed to forgive them and still never speak to them again. You are allowed to cry for what never got to finish. And then you are allowed to build a beautiful, grounded, whole life anyway. This isn't the kind of closure that comes with confetti and clarity. It's the kind that whispers, "I've carried this long enough. It's time to put it down." And when you do, you'll feel lighter, not because the pain disappears, but because you stopped letting it define you. Tonight, I invite you to sit with a pen, a quiet heart, and a story that never quite ended the way you needed it to. We're not going to rewrite the past, but we are going to reclaim the part of it that still lingers in your chest. The part that aches when a certain song plays. The part that flinches when you hear their name. The part that wonders if it was your fault. It wasn't. Let's begin. Take a few deep breaths. Place your hand over your heart and write the name of the person, moment, or version of yourself that left you waiting. Waiting for an apology. Waiting for an explanation. Waiting for a goodbye that never came. Now answer these journal prompts, slowly. What did I need them to say, but they never did? Don't censor yourself. Write it all out word for word, even if it sounds messy, needy, or angry. This is your truth. What parts of myself did I abandon trying to understand them? Maybe you silenced your needs, shrunk your joy, made yourself smaller just to be accepted. If I could give myself the closure I crave, what would that look like? Would it be a letter, a ritual, a symbolic walk away? Picture it, feel it. Now, what do I need to hear from me right now? Write it in second person as if you were talking to your past self, the one who got left behind. Examples. You did the best you could with what you knew. You weren't too much. They just weren't enough. You are allowed to grieve an ending that never got a goodbye. Now take your words and read them out loud. Yes, let them echo in your space. Let them be the final chapter you choose to write. Because closure isn't about hearing their side of the story. It's about telling your own and choosing to end it on a page of softness, not silence. Let this be the moment you stop waiting for a door that won't open, and instead build your own exit. You're free to walk forward now. Take one more breath with me. Inhale slowly, hold it, Sen, R-E. Now exhale, let your shoulders drop, unclench your jaw, soften your hands. You made it through another episode, but more importantly, you made it through another night. That in itself is a quiet kind of bravery, because facing what you never got, what you may never get, takes more courage than people realize. It takes strength to admit, I didn't get the ending I deserved. It takes softness to say, but I still deserve to heal. Maybe you were waiting for an apology that never came, or a message that was promised and forgotten, or a goodbye that was cut short by silence. And maybe a part of you still replays it, still wonders what could have been said differently, done better, waited longer. But if you hear anything tonight, let it be this. You don't need their words to end your sentence. You are allowed to close the book, even if they left it open. Closure isn't a scene, it's a choice. It's the decision to stop handing your peace to people who didn't value it. It's the gentle letting go of the need to be understood by someone who never tried to see you. And I know letting go doesn't always feel like freedom at first. Sometimes it feels like grief. Sometimes it feels like walking away from a version of yourself you built around them. But with every step forward, with every breath you take that isn't tied to waiting, you come home to yourself a little more. That's what tonight was about, giving yourself back to you. So, as we close this episode, I want you to whisper something to yourself, not to them. I release what I never received. I choose to move forward, even without the ending I wanted. I give myself the closure they couldn't. That's your soft power. That's your healing. And that's your future calling you forward. No, it won't be easy. Some days, the silence will echo louder than the words you hoped to hear. But some days, that silence will sound like peace. And when it does, you'll know you made it. This was the Nikko Daze Show. A quiet corner of the world where it's okay to be in between. Where closure isn't something given, but something grown. New episodes every Wednesday and Saturday on Facebook, YouTube, and Spotify. Follow and subscribe to keep this space soft and sacred. And until we meet again, see you in the days. With all my love, Nikko.